Dear colleagues, I want to present you our research, which is dedicated to program clones detection as natural language text fragments based on constructive synthesizing model. Similar or identical fragments of code can occur in the program's text and are called code clones. They are in some sense analogous of borrowings in natural language text, and their presence in the program can reduce readability and complicates its debugging and technical support. The detecting clones task can be attributed to the code refactoring, and for large amount of program text, it's advisable to develop and use automated tool for detecting clones. The object of our research is the clones detection processes in different program texts. The subject of the study is a method for detecting such clones based on stochastic grammar. This method is proposed for the first time, and it has satisfactory performance working with natural language text. So now it was adapted to formal languages within the framework of this study. To construct the rules of stochastic grammar and their further analysis, constructive synthesizing modeling is used. These rules model program algorithmic structure. The probability of deriving the entire program is determined as the product of its algorithmic structures, appearance, probabilities, with different levels of nesting. Constructive synthesizing modeling is based on the use of a generalized constructor and its refining transformation. A generalized constructor is a triple of heterogeneous carriers that contains terminals and non-terminals and can be expanded during the construction process. Then operations and relation signature consisting of binding, substitution, and derivation, and operations with attributes. And last one, information support of construction. To form construction, it's necessary to perform a number of clarifying transformations with the constructor. First transformation is specialization that determines the subject area of the construction. Next one is interpretation, consisting of linking signature operations with algorithm for executing to form a construction. Next one is concretization, that is expansion of the axiomatic with a set of production rules, setting specific sets of non-terminals and terminal symbols with their attributes and, if necessary, attributes values. And last one is implementation or realization, that is construction formation from elements of the constructor carrier by executing algorithm related to signature operations. As a result of generalized constructor refinements transformation in our work, three constructors were formed. First one is a constructor transformer that transforms program text into a text. Next one is also a constructor transformer of tagged text into a set of formal rules with its probability measure. And last one, it's a constructor measurer that identifies two program text similarity degree. In experiment 1, the constructor formed the rules of stochastic grammar obtained as a result of processing programs that solve two tasks. First task is to find the maximum value of an element in two-dimensional array. So input here is two-dimensional array and array dimension, and output is the value of the maximum element. The second task is a task of sorting one-dimensional array element using the bubble sort method. And output here is ordered one-dimensional array, and input one-dimensional array and array dimensions. The listing of this program looks like this. So we can say that they both have different functionality. The syntax similarity is partly due to the use of C# language in both cases. However, the greatest influence of the similarity of the tokens order is played by the implemented algorithmic structures and their sequences. That is the structure of the program algorithm. For its analysis, it's possible to switch to a flow chart. So let us consider the solution of these programs in terms of algorithmic structures, such as sequence, selection, and repetition. And then analyze the qualitative and quantitative composition of the algorithm. In each task implementation, there are three process blocks: choice and repetition. Block 2 from 2 to 5 in task 1 correspond in type and placement to blocks 1 to 4 of task 2. These two functionally different programs of task 1 and 2 have a structural difference only in linear block 1. Let's look at the scheme structure comparison in terms of different blocks amount in table 1. In this case, we can conclude that the clones have the same asymptotic computational complexity, and the difference between them has a complexity squared n. The description of the program structure is performed using reserved words and identifiers of the program, and their certain sequence or nesting in each other, for example, a loop with a conditional statement inside. Among the reserved words in the program text, the following texts were used: loop, branch, and process. After that, the data type, reserved word or variable name, operator type, and nesting level are specified for each tag as its attribute. For each algorithmic structure, its appearance probability in a certain place of the program text is calculated. As an example, there are the rules of stochastic grammar that model a program for the task 2, where sigma is initial non-terminal, aig and pig are the g's non-terminal and probability in the is level rule. The level corresponds to the processed program operator sequence number, and the terminals are tags used for identifying reserved word, as well as operator types and variables in the program, such as op for sign of equality, var for variable temp, and num for number 10 in the program, and so on. According to the obtained rule comparison result, the code similarity of task 1 and 2 is 96% due to the identity of the logical structures used to solve these tasks. To obtain a more informative result, more experiments were conducted. In addition to first experiment, the second part of this experiment, we work with 3 new tasks. Task 4, it's task of inserting a new element into a single linked, one-way order at least without breaking its order. Number 5, it's insert an element into a single linked, one-way list into a given position using a while loop. And task 6 is to insert an element into the same type of list, but using a for loop instead of while. According to the obtained results, the programs are functionally different, but structurally and syntactically similar. So they are an inverted 4 type of clones. For programs from 1 to 3 and 4 to 6, we can say that they show high similarity separately in the middle of each group. It's from 93% to 98%, while those that solve different tasks and do not have a similar algorithm in general received a level of coincidence from 14% to 24% respectively. In experiment 2, the similarity of 4 different programs solving the same task but having a different code structure was investigated. 2 similar programs, 7 to 10 and 11 to 14, were selected for the experiment. As can be seen in the table, for programs with different algorithms but written to solve the same task, the similarity in the middle of the group is somewhat lower, from 67 to 87% in the first group and from 67 to 89% in the second group, respectively. On average, the degree of programs similarities that do not have a structurally similar algorithm and do not solve a common problem, the degree of similarity reached from 14 to 60%. A fairly high degree of program similarity that are not clones is due to the use of similar, limited by program language tools. In third experiment, students' programs were selected to solve certain problem with a total number of 200 works. The first half of them solved the problem of processing a matrix of integers using structures and functions. The content of processing function depends on the individual task variant. The obtained result of 100 programs comparison demonstrates that overall similarity at the level of 73 to 94%, where the similarity level of programs written for different variants was 73 to 80%. And when variants are the same, the percentage reached 85 to 94%. Each of the second half of programs solve the task of creating a class that models an entity according to the variant of the individual task, and demonstrating work with its objects in the main function of the program. In this case, the comparison results reached for programs solving different variants, being 65 to 70%, and for common variant from 75 to 80 to 78% of the similarity, which is mostly due to the use of common tools for different performers with their own style of writing program codes. Comparing programs from the different groups, from the first and second half with each other, their similarity varied at the level of 20 to 35 degrees. As a result, we can say that the greater similarity we get with comparing structurally similar algorithms for solving the task. Programs which solve different problems but have almost identical algorithm are obtained similarity level reached 96%. Programs that have similar algorithm but solve different problems have a similarity of 67 to 89%. And programs that do not have a common task and a similar algorithm due to use of a common programming language toolkit have a similarity from 14 to 60%. In general, the practical significance of the proposed method and its software implementation is to provide a tool for comparing programs in order to detect clones and assess possible expected results of the uniqueness of program text. The method can be used to solve the following problems: code refactoring problem, programming pattern extraction, and testing the uniqueness of programming training papers. The detection of a new type of clones provides grounds for studying existing methods in order to assess their ability to detect such clones. For our future plans, we can say that the set of detected clones required further analysis, especially how many fragment parts make up the similarity in the detected percentage of clones, and whether they are logically complete parts that are subject to refactoring. Thank you for your attention.